Hello one and all, I am Pelicans and welcome to the Afterthought. Today we are looking at Pixel Heroes Byte Magic. So the story behind this one is it's developed by the Bitfather, I believe, and it's available currently on Steam for $6.99. It's quite an interesting one. I've been enjoying it for the most part. I was going to make it a first thought game, but the problem was I kept playing it, and it's one of them games where it really encourages that one more play kind of mindset, to say it simply enough. So I ended up just playing loads of it, and I think I've got probably about 8 hours on the clock at least. But it's definitely been a great experience. However, it isn't without its flaws. So before we jump into the game and show you what it's all about, I'll quickly show you the options menu. Now, it's an indie game, so you know, obviously it's going to have a huge range of options. It would be nice to see sliders for the music and sound effect options. The problem is it's in the window to begin with, the game, so it doesn't display properly, which is a shame. Even if you full screen it, it doesn't give you a full light picture, but it's okay. It's like a problem, but I can overlook that. You got 2 language options. I suppose they're probably a Dutch studio, and that would explain why Dutch is an option. However, you know, it's fine. I'm an English speaker, so you know, I'm not going to be too much of a problem. But it would be nice to see other options. But it is once again an indie game, so I'm not expecting too much. Let me just show you the achievement side of things to give you an idea of how much I've played of the game. So I played through the first 2 stories. I'm on to the extremely hard one. I think I played a lot of it. I think I ended up getting owned right at the end, if I believe. Yeah, I did. I got owned right at the end of my playthrough of that. So if you go on Graveyard, it will show you exactly how many games you've played. I've currently played 15 runs. And it basically tells you, you know, when you die, stuff like that. It's nice stats. It's quite nice. Gives you a bit of something to reflect on. I'm kind of a fan of the music too. It's got a nice chip-tuned style to it, which is always good. I think we will just get into the game, but I want to show you what it's all about. So let's go on insane, because I am insane. So essentially, when you start out, you're given a limited amount of characters to pick from. And the more you play it, basically the achievements unlock characters, most of them do anyway. And you basically means that it gives you a reason to keep playing and keep getting new stuff. So I think I'll try and pick characters I haven't been before. So I haven't been this guy before, a dwarf. I haven't been her, and I haven't been the witch. So let's go with them. I played most of these. I think I've actually played the witch before, actually. I haven't played him, have I? No, I haven't. So instead of a witch, I will pick the brewmaster, I believe he is. No, he's a plague bringer, even. So you can re-roll, as you've seen earlier, where it kind of gives you the option to give you different characters. Because obviously you might not be happy with the set it gives you. But it's completely out of your control what it might give you, so it's nice randomness to it. So all the story dialogue stuff is text-based, which is it's good. It's kind of a nice retro style it's got to it. So let's go over what this interface is all about. So if we pick the queue, it's a quest, and it will basically tell you what quest you're currently doing, what ones you've done in the past of this particular run through. Heroes, it will tell you all the stats related to that, in terms of stuff your character's done rather than their actual character stats. These are like for the whole run through various stuff you've done. Now if we go over to the item bag, it will basically show you all the cool kid stats what are related to these characters. It's really nice amount of, I'd say it's almost to a point where it's got loads of complexity to it, and I'm going to try and explain that as best as possible. I want to bring up one of the first interface problems I have with it, in that as a long time RPG player, especially JRPGs, I understand what these things mean. I understand that life relates to that, and obviously most people would, but stuff like faith, dexterity, intelligence, it's not so clear. Now, if you go into the help option, and then you go over to Heroes, I believe, it will tell you, but for me that's a bit finicky. I find that a bit overly problematic and not the easiest thing to find, as well as they have this element system which kind of works for super effective stuff, so there's a lot of complexity to be had here, as well as various effects you can have on characters through elemental. I don't like to say that because it already has elements alongside it, so I'm going to, they've called them status effects, and that's a good way of describing it. But I would like to see, if I hovered over any of these, I would like it to tell me what its benefit is, because I feel that would be really beneficial to help improve the overall user interface. On top of that, I feel that it's great that it gives me these, like, it's interesting, you can pick a weapon, and it might not necessarily, even if it's a physical weapon, it's not all about the physical attack of it, it's also reliant on other things, like it will say, 50% of its damage is related to the level of your attack value, which would be strength, and then you've got 40% range value, which would be dexterity, which I find really interesting as a way to help with the stat mechanics. I mean, overall I've been quite impressed with the playability of this game, so I can equip these trinkets, I suppose, I believe they're called, and they're going to give us bonus effects. Now, it doesn't matter too much, I'm going to show you the combat in a minute, but on top of this, you also have skills for each character, which are basically timed, so every, like, if you use this every 18 turns after it, you can use it again. They're kind of like overpowered maneuvers which you can use to basically just own at will. So what we need to do now is, now what we could do, we could go to the shop and we could buy stuff. We've got choices. Once again, I want to bring up the humour. They have quite a lot of, like, little references here and there, like, let's give you an example here, where they basically mock the idea of the exclamation mark system for quest givers, which is kind of well known, I would say. But some of it works really well, and some of it's just, like, really out of place for me. Now, it's obviously a subjective thing, and that's fair enough, but there's, like, a part where they just have a random Matrix reference in the game, and just stuff like that, which just, for me, doesn't fit, but like I say, it's very subjective. This is essentially, it will just give you the options menu, the save and exit and resume, so there's nothing there. So now we've picked our quest. You get 2 quests every time to pick from. We go on our little journey towards it, and we'll get a few random encounters. So the snails basically just give you a kind of knowledge about the place you're going to, or places you could go to in the future. Now, we haven't got a pick, so we're going to have to just randomly pick one. Now, I have a problem with this as well. So obviously it tells you that the enemies can curse you and make you dull, so you probably want to have armour which can give you immunity to that. And as well as that, it tells you that, you know, you don't need weapons infused with any special element, because they're, like, neutral, so any element will do. What's great about it is that it's kind of, it gives you a reason to explore these options, but the problem is that you'd have to, like, keep it in a little, like, document or something, rather than having it, like, saved within this game to let you know that you know that. Like, it'd be nice to have a way of integrating that into the formula, so that once you know that, from then on, it's fine. So that's kind of a little annoyance I have with the game. So we're hopefully going to come into combat soon, and then I can show you. I mean, it is a basic JRPG formula, it's nothing out of the ordinary. So we've got the options here. There's a lot of choice to be had with these little options, heading up to your actual encounters. So I'm going to start by showing off one of these power moves, I think. So we're just going to shower them with poison. As you can imagine, they're going to be quite weak enemies due to the fact we've just started our adventure. So we're going to go with a physical attack here, which should own the character with ease. Now, I want to bring on the point that this game doesn't have any, like, Phoenix Downs kind of revives if your character dies. The only way you can revive it is if you make it through the whole dungeon and get back to base to heal. You can't, like, go back to base after a fight. You have to wait until you've done the entire thing. So it's very much unforgiving in that manner, that you'd have to make sure that your characters aren't going to, like, die on a whim. So you've got to make sure that you have that healer, that you have someone who can protect you. You might even decide, oh, I'm going to have a character which has, I believe it's called Shroud. Let's have a look, see what they call it. Concealed, which basically means you've got the chance of being of attacks just missing you, which is great. So you've got to be very strategic in every time you use a attack, just to be like, well, maybe my character might die here, and it has real consequences, because if your character dies, then that's going to leave you further down in terms of your characters going further in the dungeon, and it's going to make it harder for you to, like, survive. You do have potions, there is potions available, so after each fight you can heal up that way, but there is no revive. There is only a back to base, I can go to the temple and restore my character, but that is after I've done the whole dungeon. And to give you an idea of how the dungeon is, we're going to go there now. There's 8 floors to each dungeon, I believe. So we're fine with that, we can go ahead. So you've got 7 floors plus the boss. So it's quite intense. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Would I recommend this? It's got a lot of fun to be had here. I feel it's one of them games where it's easy to play, hard to master kind of scenario, which really does encourage the just one more game, or I've unlocked something, so I feel like I've actually been able to, like, continue onwards. Like, it really gives you that feeling of I've actually earned something even though I've failed, which is great to see. So I think I will just use my Leonard to take this guy to town and tell him that his kind is just not welcome. We don't want insanity in our game. Well, we do. It's probably the most creative way to enhance your characters. But yeah, like I say, you know, the humour's not necessarily for me all the time, but that's subjective. I think the music's great. The gameplay's, you know, stereotypical. However, it has got a lot of complexity with its element system, with all the status effects. It's got, like, hidden depth, I feel, and it's really worth your time, I think. So I think that covers everything I want to say. I think first thoughts to my final thoughts, it's not changed. I feel that I went into it a bit more. I didn't think I would enjoy the system, and I will be honest, it was aggravating at the start, realising that, you know, this stuff isn't made clear to me, and so I think they need to either integrate a tutorial in here or just make this interface completely just done in a better way, just like being able to hover over and it have that information. It would be nicer. But I totally, you know, I totally get the idea of the more you play, the more you learn, and that's great to see. So yes, thank you for watching, everyone. I will leave a Steam link below so you can check out the game yourself. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about the game, and other than that, goodbye.